Joining Hands for Tactile Graphics Literacy in India. Bogusław Bob Marek, Kulkan, Poland, and
Ankita Gulati, Touch Vision India.
My name is Ankita Gulati. I'm the founder of Touch Vision, a social enterprise supported by Technology Business Incubation Unit of Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. I worked as an assistive technologies developer for over a period of 5 years. Touch Vision mainly engages with students and teachers across semi-urban and rural areas of India. I'm also serving as the youngest subject matter expert with Rehabilitation Council of India.
Ankita is a recipient of several prestigious awards, including the National Award by the President of India for Development of Affordable Assistive Technology. Also, award from the Ministry of Human Resource and Development and Department of Science and Technology of the Government of India for development and dissemination of products facilitating inclusion. As a teacher trainer, Ankita works mainly with teachers and students in schools and orphanages in rural areas. I'd like to introduce myself as a retired professor of English at the John Paul II Catholic University of Lublin. Until March 1st, 2021, I was the head of Kulkan, Centre for Inclusion of Students with Special Needs. I'm also the founder of Hungry Fingers and developer of resources facilitating understanding tactile graphics. I'm also a teacher trainer.
Professor Marek is the recipient of OBE, the Order of the British Empire, from Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II for developing an English language program for learners with a visual impairment. He also serves as the organizer of tactile graphic workshops in Europe, India, Nepal, Australia, New Zealand, Samoa, Singapore, Laos, Japan, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and the USA.
We met at two important conferences organised in New Delhi by IIT, the Indian Institute of Technology. In 2016, the second Indo-US workshop on emerging accessibility technologies, and in 2019 at the IIT Empower Conference. And this is where the idea of cooperation was first born. In 2019, Ankita came to Poland and visited Kulkan and Hungry Fingers. The purpose was to get acquainted with the thermographic powder technology for producing tactile graphics, to present her multisensory Touch Vision tactile graphics reading device, to learn more about Hungry Fingers resources, and to discuss ways to promote tactile graphics in India. Why India? It's enough to think of the size of the country and of its population, which exceeds 1,380,000,000 people, which is 17% of world population. With 62 million persons with a visual impairment, including 8 million totally blind, with 28 states each with its official language and several local languages, the needs for assistance, such as resources and for teacher training, must be enormous.
In India, availability, accessibility, affordability, and scarcity of trained special educators serve as major barriers to inclusion of children with visual disabilities in the education ecosystem. This further limits the employment opportunities available for persons with visual disabilities. As a result, the quality of life of over 62 million persons with visual impairment in India is degraded. Limited learning resources and recreational activities are available for children with visual impairments. Even if the material is made available in braille or accessible audio formats, the pictures are usually omitted. Some of the teachers try to make some handmade diagrams to help children with tactile diagram understanding, but the lack of operational training on both the learners as well as teachers' part serve as a major barrier in accessing the content depicted in the diagram. As 90% of the visually impaired population in India resides in low income settings, so affordability becomes a major constraint. Globally used technologies like swell paper and sophisticated hardware devices cannot be replicated right away in India, where resources and funding serves as a major constraint. A very special emphasis of this project joining hands is on the lack of training among the special educators. Even if we can adopt low cost technologies to produce tactile diagrams in India itself, we need to train our teachers as well as students in the usage of those diagrams so that the resources can be used in an optimized manner to serve children's best interests.
It should be clear by now why we decided to focus on tactile graphics. It is one of the most difficult and in many places still one of the most neglected areas of education of blind learners. But without understanding drawings, subjects such as geometry, geography, science, art remain an abstract mystery for persons born blind. Although a wide range of technologies is available for producing tactile images and diagrams, availability does not mean accessibility. This is how we see our contribution to the project. Hungry Fingers, Poland, offers experience in developing resources for explaining difficult concepts needed for understanding tactile graphics, experience in training teachers in India and in working with children with total blindness in India, access to high-quality tactile graphics printing technology. Touch Vision India offers knowledge of the needs in the area of education of VI learners in India, including availability and access to tactile graphics, experience in teaching students with a visual impairment, and in training teachers, developing innovative IT resources facilitating access to tactile graphics through audio input, contacts and cooperation with IT centres and organisations working in the area of special educational needs. So the needs which must be addressed in the area of accessibility of tactile graphics include 1. Availability of well-designed tactile graphics. 2. Access to drawing materials. 3. Ability to understand graphics. 4. Ability to produce recognizable drawings. And 5. Most importantly, availability of teachers with training in the area of tactile graphics and access to resources for introducing spatial relations represented graphically. Several technologies are available for production of tactile graphics, but teachers must understand that the fact that something is tactile does not mean that it will be understood. For example, these tactile drawings, one showing a messy room with 3 animals playing, one with 3 kittens playing football, and one with 2 creatures fighting or dancing with brooms. The list of skills needed for reading these drawings would probably be miles long. In India, thermoforming is the most popular method of producing tactile graphics. It is very efficient, but it is available only in large centres. Also, the range of graphics actually used in schools is largely limited to geometry, general maps, and simple graphs.
Over the last 2 decades, India's premier technology and research institutions like Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, IIT Madras, and IIT Kharagpur have been working on technologies to produce affordable tactile graphics in bulk quantities to reach every child in India. They are able to produce tactile graphics ranging from 0.3 to $1 depending on the size of the diagram using the thermoforming technology to produce multiple bulk copies of a single tactile graphic.
The second problem with access to tactile graphics is availability of drawing materials. A sheet of embossing film placed on a silicone mat and a stylus or an ordinary pen, basic tools for making tactile drawings, are still a much desired novelty in most schools in India. We have now come to what is probably the most important component of the Joining Hands project: helping learners with total blindness understand drawings, many of which are 2-dimensional representations of a 3-dimensional reality. For a blind person, a drawing of a teddy bear could easily be taken for an exotic island, with the arms and legs representing 4 peninsulas and the nose marking the location of the capital city. The level of difficulty with unguided reading of tactile graphics can be illustrated by this drawing, which shows a round table with a breakfast set for 2 persons and 2 round stools on both sides of the table. Moving the 2 stools so that they hide partly under the table makes the drawing very difficult, if not impossible, to distinguish from a drawing of the head of a teddy bear. The 2 stools can be taken for the ears, while the spoons, cups, plate and breadbasket can represent teddy bear's face, the eyebrows, eyes, nose and mouth. Let us now have a look at some drawings made by sighted and blind children. A sighted child's drawing of a tree shows the trunk, branches and leaves. But in one blind child's drawing, a tree was presented as a circle. Asked why, the child explained, "Because when I put my arms around the tree trunk, my arms make a circle." Drawings of a bus made by a sighted and a blind child differ considerably. In a blind child's drawing, a bus is represented by just 3 lines: a horizontal line for the step, a vertical line for the pole the child holds on to while boarding the bus, and a horizontal line for the seat. A blind child cannot be expected to immediately understand drawings of unfamiliar objects. Models certainly help, where real objects are too big or too small for tactile exploration, for example, these toy trucks. But given the chance, children born blind can make quite complex, recognizable drawings, e.g. children in a playground, flowers, or a Christmas card, all complete with the Christmas tree, presents, star, snowman and sledge. Researchers confirm a correlation between reading and producing tactile drawings. This slide shows a student exploring drawings of houses and an attempt at drawing a teddy bear. Engaging in making drawings improves understanding of tactile graphics, while regular exposure to graphics facilitates making recognizable drawings. For tactile graphics to be accessible, one more component is necessary: teachers with training in this area and resources for introducing and explaining spatial relations represented graphically. So what are the main components of training planned in the Joining Hands for Tactile Graphics Literacy Project? With the complexity and wide range of challenges connected with introducing learners with total blindness to tactile graphics, the training will take teachers from the challenges of introducing lines and simple geometric shapes, through drawings of objects and people, to floor plans, maps, graphs, and meaningful exploration of 3-dimensional geometric shapes. Training will be introduced in 3 stages. Stage 1, workshops for teachers. Training Stage 2, work with children. Training Stage 3, teachers work with children under supervision of course providers. Without such training, the ability to introduce learners with a visual impairment to tactile graphics will remain a challenge unaddressed so far on a larger scale.
Joining Hands is an initiative to cater to this unmet need. We have identified 4 locations which can serve as central training centers, conducting training and orientation programs for teachers all over India and serving as primary contact center for remote secondary and tertiary training camps. These include Touch Vision, based out of the capital New Delhi and supported by Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi; Blind People's Association in Ahmedabad, catering to the western part of India; Bethany Society in Shillong, catering to the north and northeastern parts of India; and Avinashalingam Institute for Home Science and Higher Education for Women in Chennai.
The training will follow contents of a tactile graphics primer developed in Poland. 1. Lines. 2. Geometric shapes. 3. Lines and geometric shapes. 4. Combinations of geometric shapes. 5. Single objects, like people, animals, etc. 6. Groups of objects. 7. Maps, street plans. 8. Talking graphics. 9. Grids and graphs. 10. Crossword puzzles. 11. Tactile graphics games. 12. Designing and making books with tactile illustrations. Explaining the relation between 3D objects and 2D drawings of these objects is often presented as one of the biggest challenges for teachers of learners with total blindness. Indeed, in this adaptation of a drawing showing a book on a table, projection of a table shown as a horizontal line for the tabletop and 2 vertical lines for the legs was not recognized by a group of blind children. For them, they were just 3 unrelated lines. These tactile illustrations found in this story about Goldilocks will probably make little sense to a child born blind without first explaining to the child that a front or side view of a table and side views of a chair or a bed can be represented by just 3 lines. The Hungry Fingers transfer graph was designed to help solve this problem. A model of a piece of furniture, for example a table, inserted into a wooden box through an outline of the table cut out in the lid, reveals just 3 lines, the edge of the tabletop and 2 legs. The outline can be compared with a drawing in a tactile book. The progress reported by a geography teacher from New Zealand, made by a child in just 1 session with the transfer graph, that is moving from a few circular lines through 3 horizontal lines to a recognizable drawing of a table, certainly sounds optimistic. But the teacher must make sure that the child isn't just copying the outline, but understands that the drawing shows the table from just one perspective. Time to move to resources which facilitate independent access to tactile graphics through audio input. Several technologies are available, for example a talking pen, pen friend, or a talking tactile tablet. While these resources are very useful, their disadvantage is that they require either graphics printed on special paper, or recordable labels, or a computer. A resource developed by TouchVision has no such limitations.
TouchVision is a multi-sensory inclusive education platform comprising of tactile diagrams, be it books, recreational materials, storybooks, or games, assisted by simultaneous audios powered by the mobile application. It enables affordable interactive access to diagrams in audio-tactile form using image processing. The novel mechanism allows user to interact with tactile materials simultaneously, which helps in enhancing the understanding of the concept depicted in the tactile diagram. A foldable stand is used with the tactile diagram to position smartphone camera for scanning tactile material and pointer ring on user's index finger. The bottom part of the stand is fixed with the diagram and smartphone is placed at the top of the stand. The smartphone app provides simultaneous audio stimulus to the user as per index finger's location. Label and description of the diagram is narrated based on different finger gestures performed by the user. Multilingual, smartphone-based approach provides the ease of use to teachers as well as students to enable learning in an inclusive setup. Here is a short video explaining how the TouchVision device works.
Africa. Africa is the world's second largest and second most populous continent. Plant cell. Nucleus. In cell biology, the nucleus is a membrane-enclosed organelle found in eukaryotic cells.
It seems that the initiative Joining Hands for Tactile Graphics Literacy comes at the right time. There are signs of growing awareness of the importance of tactile graphics materials for blind children. Activity books with tactile illustrations for young children, which are beginning to be manufactured in India, make a good introduction to tactile graphics for blind children. The value and high standard of these books has been noted by Tiflo Intactus, an international tactile books competition, which honoured a book produced in Chennai with a special distinction. A growing number of enthusiastic teachers interested in raising their teaching standards, organizations which offered their premises for the trainings, and children hungry for educational materials with tactile graphics give us hope that the Indo-Polish project will find followers in other countries who will join hands for tactile graphics literacy worldwide. Thank you. If you'd like to learn more about the Joining Hands for Tactile Graphics Literacy in India, please visit TouchVision at www.touchvision.com or www.hungryfingers.com.